Our other high-tech leader, Rosatom, also has solid experience. It occupies about 90% of the global market for construction of nuclear power plants. About 90%. 110 power units of domestic Russian design are built all over the world. Russia is the only country in the world that has a competence of the entire chain of nuclear energy companies. And by building abroad, we are not just building objects, but together with our partners, we are creating the future of the energy sector and mixed industries. We are forming a strong national, personnel, scientific, and technological base of development, an entire state. On this basis, we are building nuclear power plants in Egypt, Bangladesh, Turkey, and we intend to deepen cooperation in the nuclear sector with the countries of the Global South along the BRICS line, BY 2050. The power of the world's nuclear power plants will almost double. In Russia, more than 29 gigawatts of nuclear power plants, including small nuclear power plants, and no one except us is building small nuclear power plants. Yes, there are plans, but in reality and practice, nothing is happening in the world. Only we are doing it. Nuclear generation will appear in the Far East and Siberia. It should be noted that nuclear energy plays an important role in supplying consumers, whose role in the future should dramatically increase. I mean electric transport, of course. The same thing I mentioned, industrial robots, automated systems in the service sector. The growing demand for electricity is manifested by the digital economy, including tools of artificial intelligence, blockchains, storage, and data processing facilities. According to some estimates, the consumption of energy by data centers around the world is comparable to that of the entire heavy industry. It is obvious that the areas I have just mentioned are a powerful factor in development. They largely determine the global competitiveness of countries, the effectiveness of national economies, the quality of life of people. This means that our plans to develop the domestic fuel and energy complex should take into account all these trends. This is what we're trying to do. Among other things, I propose a focus on supplying the digital economy, data centers and local generation facilities, stations where resources are used, which specialists call locked. That is, they are far and expensive to transport, which means that it is more effective to use them on the spot. I do not ask the government to propose an organization of such a model. Among other things, I ask it to work on the use of cutting-edge clean coal generation to meet the needs of the digital infrastructure, storage and data processing centers, and so on. That we have seen how the very same elites of Western countries have at the same time refused to service equipment for TCs delivered to Russia. They have officially announced that they will not fulfill their commitments. They have just shown once again that they are unreliable partners, and their actions are directly connected with political conjuncture. Sometimes, this political conjuncture is used for unfair competition. It is clear that commercial structures were forced to do so, to be honest. I mean Western commercial structures. They were forced to do so under pressure of their ruling political elites. But the fact remains that Western technologies and equipment for TECs can at any time be inaccessible for geopolitical reasons. They are inaccessible not only for Russia, but also for any other supplier of energy resources, which someone in the West considers to be an uncomfortable competitor or simply a non-negotiable country. We must all take this into account. This is the reality of today, but I think that everyone understands this perfectly well. This means that we must actively change the status of energy resource manufacturers from equipment buyers to technological leaders, form a full-fledged energy sovereignty at the national level, from the extraction and processing of resources to the transportation of ready-made products. Our main market was one of the main ones, not the main one, but one of the main ones where they sold their high-tech products. They were forced to refuse. Their production became unprofitable. They reduced their workforce. Technologies began to be lost. And our specialists increased their production and became technological leaders because their own market allowed them to produce products at a good and profitable level. And now there are partners all over the world who buy this equipment from Russian companies. Yesterday they bought it in Europe, and today they buy it more and more in Russia, and this process will continue to develop. What did they do? They bought a ticket and did not go to Zloconductor. This is nonsense, you see? Nonsense. But this is the reality of today's life. Our production of mining equipment and industrial chemistry is growing. Our own technological solutions for the maintenance of deposits and infrastructure are being implemented. If many of what I have just listed were done by foreign companies, as I have just said, now it is our specialists, Russian specialists, who are doing this more and more. Russia has huge engineering potential, serious scientific and practical achievements in high-tech, which, as they say, have passed the test of time, prove their effectiveness in harsh natural and climatic conditions. We have the competence and experience to develop even in complex energy segments, to mine hard-to-get reserves, which is especially relevant for the oil industry. And we will do this not only on our own, but together with our friendly states, which perfectly understand geopolitical risks. Russia offers comprehensive technological cooperation of energy countries, which does not depend on sanctions and external pressure. It is a real partnership, the basis of which is the exchange of knowledge, experience, and the creation of industrial alliances. And everyone who participates in this work should benefit from the results of such a partnership. As for equipment, I have just mentioned nuclear energy. Here, Russia is an absolute leader, but it does not depend on anyone. Everything that is done in the nuclear sector is done in Russia. Absolutely the same will be done in all types of energy sectors, and the same will be done in oil and gas equipment. Russia intends to strengthen its position as a world energy leader, to develop partnership relations to build a fair and sustainable model of global energy in the interests of future generations. And I very much hope that the Russian Energy Week will make a great contribution to our joint work. I wish the participants and guests of the forum success and all the best. I am sure that many useful meetings and discussions have already taken place. And if so, we are very happy. This means that the goal for which we invite you to Russia is being achieved.
Комплексное технологическое сотрудничество энергетических стран, которое не зависит от санкций и внешнего давления. Настоящее партнерство, в основе которого обмен знаниями, опытом, создание промышленных альянсов. Причем результатами такого партнерства должны пользоваться все, кто участвует в этой работе. Ну, знаете, вот что касается оборудования, я говорил только что об этом и говорил об атомной энергетике. Но здесь вот Россия действительно абсолютный лидер. Но никакой зависимости ни от кого. Все, что делается в атомной сфере, все делается в России. Вот абсолютно все то же самое будет во всех видах энергетической отрасли. И в нефтегазовом оборудовании то же самое. Россия намерена укреплять свои позиции как мирового энергетического лидера. Развивать партнерские отношения для постройки справедливой и устойчивой модели глобальной энергетики в интересах будущих поколений. И очень рассчитываю, что проведение Российской энергетической недели внесет свой большой вклад в эту нашу совместную, по сути дела, работу. Я желаю участникам и гостям форума успехов и всего самого хорошего. Уверен, что уже много полезных встреч, бесед, обсуждений состоялось. И если это так, то мы очень рады. И это значит, что цель, ради которой мы вас приглашаем к нам в Россию, она достигается. Благодарю вас за внимание. Спасибо большое.